hello to every execution, the man hardly managed to cough. As it happened, Angel leapt up the bed, earning him a slap in the face. He sassed the warden after that and was put in isolation. Butch received a bruise under his eye, which Gutierre took notice of. He reacted by slipping and falling in the pitch black. The policeman wasn't happy. Butch might be able to recall the specifics of the encounter after spending a few days in seclusion. It is obvious that the abused guy himself has no intention of pardoning his abuser. In order to dig a ditch, the convicts were transported outside. It appears that Banks has an excellent relationship with his superiors. The warden asked Max, who had AIDS, to at least act like he was working. Gutierre gave Mr. Sens the drink. The young man responds to the warden's question regarding the eye with the same response he gave about Nightfall. Butch will be placed in solitary confinement for his refusal to cooperate, much to Sens's dismay. When Max visits Miss X's teacher, she requests that he cease spreading false information about his HIV status. The testing produced negative results. Max took a seat next to the teacher and began to read some of her obscene poems. "You've crossed a major line. I won't return until someone in this place learns to value art." Because Davis didn't leak information, Banks dubbed him a mature young man when they spoke back in the cell. Exceptionally, why were his armpits so damp? Why does Davis urinate so frequently? The bore offers him his Somapol goods even though he knows the man is a pusher. Moon gave Davis a white powder after taking it out of her purse. He inhaled the white substance with his nose and said it is uncommon. The group leaned over the balloonist who was bewildered and whispered something since he didn't feel like the marker had completely defined his face. The unfortunate man overheard Banks saying derogatory things about his mother. The man then started to worry. Davis writhed along the corridor while yelling for assistance. He was picked up by Gutierre, who then took him into the shower, submerged him in cold water, and made the addict squirt. Pale Davis was consequently placed in solitary confinement as well. Try to drink more to get that garbage out of your system because it's for your own good. We will ascertain how the drugs enter the colony. On the day of his grandson's visit, the elderly man gives him a sandwich, but there are concealed wheels inside the bag. Meekin removes the sandwich from the trash can and gives the items to Banks. The first person to be freed from solitary confinement was Davis, who was then followed a day later by Butch and Angela. While Davis is playing table tennis, the two freaks with curly hair taunt him, calling him nothing less than a cockerel. Davis loses his cool. Angel hid the surveillance camera. Butch stumbled into the break room at that precise moment and hit Looney hard twice with his racket. Yecker was furious to support his underdog, so Butch grabbed his mug and went in search of Banks. Davis went after him. He remained behind to maintain watch beside the restroom. Butch immediately placed the cup to Banks's head. He started to bruise the big bastard's face as he fell, each blow being lavishly contributed to. He then ordered Davis to throw away the crumb, taking advantage of the chance to reclaim his boots. Although those who shattered Looney's nose won't admit it, Gutierre found the curled turd. Sens spotted a piece of beef in the bathroom. Angel and Butch are placed by the bunks by Gutierre. The officer calls the final person a stupid. He warned him not to take revenge or assault anyone present, but he is now freezing his ass off and denying doing either. Book is being pushed by Gutierre, who offers to face him alone. When he requests that he refrain, Gutierre halts. His mother pays a visit to Davis. She is unsure if she will harm him further. If anything, she has already filed a lawsuit against the institution. But in reaction, Davis merely became irate. He won't speak with any attorneys. Father of Angel visited him. Their discussion didn't really improve. After visiting day, a fresh batch of pills enters the colony as normal. At the entrance to the mess hall, a pair with dark skin was waiting. Shadow, a nigger, wants to speak with him. In a meeting with some of the prisoners, Miss Bix advises that they do an evaluation today. With a 7, Butch. Finally, he emerges from the closet. Frank has nothing and has been for months since this place is terrible. Carol has been redrawing him overweight and can hardly read. The issue of managing rage is the subject of today. They are all present for that reason. But the conversation has turned into insults directed at each other's weight, race, and other characteristics. Overall, nothing productive came out of this endeavor. Frank then quickly engaged in combat with a Latino. Ms. Beeks was forced to request the security personnel. Bush informed Minkin that he would meet him later during this difficulty. Mickey gave Bush a bag of drugs at the garbage cans, but he also steals the wheels that belonged on the shade. According to me, everything will be as of right now, says Butch. Davis shares his life narrative with his cellmates to amuse them. The last time he went out with his girlfriend, she dumped him. Her mother then returned home. The curvy woman lit up, blew the ash from his shorts, and then entered her bedroom. They naturally slid into bed after she urged him to undo her dress buttons. Everyone was charmed by the great narrative that followed. The children separated themselves into 2 teams for a game of dodgeball during gym class. It just so happened that there were white folks on one side and brown people on the other. The gym teacher says that there will be no such nonsense on his court and tells the students to mix it up. Simple rules apply. Use the ball to knock out your opponents while avoiding being hit. The guys enjoy themselves and let off steam. Only drenched in perspiration Davis and Butch are left in the end. So Armpit triumphs. The boys were drinking a muddle of Max's previously prepared fermented orange juice, bread, and sugar. When asking Angelo if his mother is cute, the boys fist fuck him. If she didn't have her son, she'd be screwed. That youngster was already heading for the throat, you stupid thing. Next in line is Davis's mother. Following the booch, he related a true tale of how his father performed chainsaw juggling while working in the circus. However, one of them collapsed and severed his dick. Gutierre summoned Butch in and halted the amusement. The penitentiary's director called the young man in. It was discovered that the frail warden from the prior colony had physically abused at least 10 more youths after the event with the former warden. So, self-defense was used. If that incident hadn't happened, Butch would already be out. And if Butch fell asleep in the next 2 weeks, he would be gone. The previous arrangement called for him to be moved to an adult prison when he becomes 19 and to serve an additional 4 years there if anything were to go wrong. Butch was in a terrific mood. He licked the food off his plate, took Max's cutlets, and smacked spinach in his face in thanks. Keith gave Curl the go-ahead to slit the man's cheek as Mickey was exiting the eating area. No one saw anything, as usual. The cell is turned upside down, and the juvenile offenders are stripped naked. Tomorrow is the birthday of Guthierre's daughter, and he tries to get out. Sens won't let him go, though there have been as many as 5 assaults in a single week. My child was born on this day, and so were your kids. Butch crept up behind Shadow while he was scrubbing the kitchen and began choking him. The dealer had received one more warning before. Butch won't put up with that kind of behavior again. Currently, his wife is abusing Gutierre over the phone. The males started to question whether Davis even had a girlfriend, but he is happy to share her name right now. Miss Bix's teacher was there. Max experienced heartbreak. The scene that Angel painted on the wall depicting a naked Miss Bix nearly drove the upset Gutierre insane. The guard began twisting the child, biting his arm, while Gutierre banged Angelo's head against the pipe from behind. Although his head wound was gushing, Butch attempted to assist his pal in standing up. The other warders rush in and confront the inmates lying on the ground. Sens advises Butch to phone the union while Gutierre is yelled at to confess. Angelo is in the hospital. Gutierre tries to phone the hospital out of concern. It comes out that the youngster passed dead 2 hours ago when he receives a response. The shitheads with curly hair made the decision to exact revenge on Davis by beating him in the closet. But Lou wanted more than that. The poor bastard's pants were taken down, and he was then put away. The incident that had just occurred behind the wall startled the tiny fellow. Butch was let out of his isolation cell. When Davis learned that his friend was leaving in a week, he just let go of the tray and stood still. Davis started insisting on dialing security at night. He had to give his mom a call immediately. The man needs to wait until the morning and make the call with Sens' approval even though he is trembling and has watery eyes. He'll have to go back to bed in the interim. Davis won't stop, though. The guard just cuts the link so the signal won't bother him anymore. Davis carefully re-climbed the bed. As usual in the morning, Gutierre went into the cell, but left right away. Davis was already dead, and there was blood all over the blanket that was within reach. He was unable to wait till morning. The dining area is silent while everyone eats. Pantry, the guard claims. Frank declares that there is no censor. Death, death. At once, all of the boys began to yell and bang on the table. When Butch leaves, he smashes his chair up against the wall. The others imitated him by following his lead. The guards were forced to skulk behind doors. When Butch reached Looney, he began carefully punching him. The other participants shook the mess hall and assaulted the guards who hadn't gotten a chance to flee. The officers entered the mess hall brandishing shields and batons after donning protective gear. The warders fired tear gas after using their truncheons, but that didn't deter the teenagers either. After that, they began firing rubber bullets at them. Butch was shown how to escape by Max, but he walked back inside. Butch pounded on the door before leaving towards the yard. The man grinned into the sunshine, and 3 men in uniform raced out. They hauled him back into the hellish institution after striking him hard enough to break his leg and ribs.